Justice for Trayvon!
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 No justice!
No peace!
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 Justice for Trayvon!
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 No justice!
No peace!
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 No justice!
No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace!
Let justice be served!
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 Justice for Trayvon!
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 No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace!
Yeah, well, you can.
No peace! No peace!
Let justice be served!
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 You better serve some shit! Let justice be served!
Let justice be served!
Let justice be served!
Let justice be served!
No justice!
No peace!
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 Justice for Trayvon!
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 Let justice be served!
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 Let justice be served! No peace! 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 No peace!
Justice for Trayvon!
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 No justice!
No peace!
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 Let justice be served!
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 No justice!
No peace!
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 Justice for Trayvon!
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 No justice!
No peace!
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 Let justice be served!
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 Justice for Trayvon!
Justice for Trayvon!
Justice for Trayvon!
Justice for Trayvon!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
Justice for Trayvon.
Justice for Trayvon.
Let justice be served.
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 No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
Justice for Trayvon.
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 No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
We want to give another moment of silence for Trayvon, also our members. We want to give another moment of silence for Trayvon, also our members that we lost. No justice.
No peace.
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 No justice. Justice for Trayvon.
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 No justice.
No peace.
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 When do we want it?
Now.
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 No justice.
No peace.
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 Justice for Trayvon.
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 Let justice be served.
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 When do we want it?
Now.
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we better get it?
Now.
When do we want it?
Now.
When we better get it?
Now.
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we want it?
Now.
Let justice be served.
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 No justice.
No peace.
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 Thank God. Thank God. Lord, we will never be able to do this. Thank God, Lord. Have mercy. Thank you, Lord.
And justice be served.
Good afternoon, everyone. We want to thank you. And now we're going into our
Various time periods where it was necessary to convey our civil disobedience as well as our disagreement with policies, procedures, and practice. This is just another opportunity for us to explore the very ideals of our society and what it means to live in a democratic nation. So thank you for challenging your peers, other students, for challenging the faculty, the staff, and the administration, as well to stand up and to pay attention to the issues that are so prominent in our society. I encourage you all to continue the dialogue beyond the demonstration. Trayvon Martin is just one example. There are many that are nameless, faceless within the media. But because of Trayvon Martin, it draws our attention to so many other instances where things continue as the status quo because of the absence of a voice. So thank you for sharing your voice, for challenging others to do the same. On tomorrow, there's another opportunity for you to participate and to engage the dialogue of social injustice as we will host the debate team from Rollins College as well as from Cambridge University out of the United Kingdom. I encourage all of you all to join us again. Learn a bit more about the law. What does stand your ground mean? Each one of us, as members of this society, have the capacity to cast a vote. You have the capacity to reflect the ideals of this country in the way that you vote and in the values that you espouse. But you must act upon it. And to act upon it in the most proactive way means that you must be informed. So while today is a wonderful opportunity to demonstrate your support, I encourage you to continue to educate yourself on the law that is a foundation for the decisions that are being made. Educate yourself on the processes that lead to these decisions. Don't allow it to just be about Trayvon, but allow it to be about the greater processes and systems that make this country great, and our responsibility to be engaged in continuing open dialogue and open conversations about social justice, civility, and non-violent resistance in this country. Wish you all the very best. Thank you so much to Ian Sams, who is the president of A²CS, as well as to Ms. Gandhi, who sang the Lord's Prayer for us, who is the president of BHAC, and to all of the other students, clubs, organizations, faculty, staff, and supporters, those who will come and present today. Thank you for the courage to stand for social justice. May God bless you all.
See us through someday. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid someday. Oh, deep in my heart, thank you, I do believe we shall overcome someday. The truth shall set us free. The truth shall set us free. The truth shall set us free today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe the truth shall set us free today. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall live in peace someday. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. Trayvon's Martin family because they definitely need prayer. So you guys have a good day.
Other people, he might convene the legislature in a special session. You can write those legislators who represent you, and you need to make sure you know who they are. All of our addresses are on the web. We are at myfloridahouse.gov, and you want to write them and tell them that this law needs to be amended or it needs to be repealed. And one person can make a difference. I want to remind you that in 1965, when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and other individuals marched across the bridge from Selma to Montgomery, and they were met with fire hoses and dogs and billy clubs. And the only thing they wanted was the right to vote. You have the right to vote. A lot of people sacrifice so that you have the right to vote. Dr. King and the marchers on that bridge were engaged in peaceful, law-abiding activity. And they huddled in prayer on the bridge. But they were met with billy clubs and people on horseback so that you would have the right to vote. And later, in 1965, Dr. King sat with the President of the United States, Lyndon Johnson, when he signed the Voting Rights Act of 1965 so that all of us would have the right to vote. And I am here today to say to you that if you are not registered to vote, then Trayvon's sacrifice is in vain. If you are not registered to vote, you can't send people to Tallahassee, you can't send people to Washington who think like you think that this is a bad law and it needs to be changed. If you don't exercise your right to vote in August and November, all of the sacrifices that have been made will be in vain. So while we rally, while we cry for justice for Trayvon Martin, let's take some personal responsibility and make sure that each person here is registered to vote and that you exercise your right to vote. Otherwise, we will have a lot more Trayvon Martins. Thank you.
But in order to justify your actions, you have to have a good reason. George Zimmerman does not have a good reason. No matter what people may say, no matter what his supporters may think, he does not have a good reason for taking Trayvon Martin's life. I once read about Trayvon Martin that he was really into aviation and that he wanted to become something better in life. Now that he's gone, how can he do that? He doesn't have a chance to. As young people, especially as young minorities, we should use this as an opportunity to say, you know what, this is not right. Something needs to be done. Because that could have been me. That could have been my friend. That could have been a family member that happened to. Something needs to be done. And on a closing note, what I would like to say is, my mama once told me that if you don't stand for anything, you will always fall. I know that's not what y'all used to hearing. Usually y'all used to hear if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. My mom said, listen to this, because as a youth in America, you are born into this country with a challenge. That challenge is to make your voice be heard. Even though it says in our Declaration of Independence that we all have the freedom of speech, that's not enough. We need the freedom to make our actions change. We need the freedom to make our actions change what has been going on in our country for hundreds of years. And that freedom is not there. We may have freedom to protest, we may have freedom to speech. It's not enough. Because when something like this happens, why is it that I can walk around to all the buildings and ask 20 students what they're going to do in spite of the Trayvon Martin incident, and I only get 5 that even know about it, and only get 2 that even want to do something about it out of 20 students? We need to exercise our right to change. And I think what my mom was really trying to get me to understand was that if you don't stand for change, then you will fall for the normality of life. You will fall for everything that people support in a mass group. And that's not right. We need to stand and be, basically, we need to be outcasts. Outcasts for a louder voice. And that louder voice is for justice to be served. And I want to end on this. You may not be able to control the tidal or the height of the waves while you're on your boat, but you can set your sails to get to your destination. Thank you for coming out. I would like to thank A2CS, the African American Cultural Society. Without them, none of this would have been possible. I would like to thank the Black High Achievers Club for sponsoring this event as well. I would like to thank Congresswoman Geraldine Thompson for coming out and offering her time. I would like to thank all the supporters of this march, because without you, this wouldn't be possible. And most importantly, I would like to thank the American legal system for finally making George Zimmerman go through some sort of litigation. Thank you for coming out. Let's make change.
As we prepare to close.